Hello, everybody, and welcome to Middle Age Geeks, a weekly podcast where we chat about anything and everything geeky that comes our way, be it movies, games, TV, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Daz, and I'm joined by my trusty co-host, Phil, a man who has a ridiculous assortment of dead shark heads adorning his kitchen walls, by the way. You didn't know that. How you doing, Phil?
Not too bad. That is a goddamn lie. The only animals that I would kill, are the ones that I have every day with almost every meal. Apart from that, I love animals. I would never kill a shark. I'm doing pretty good. So I'm looking forward to having a yap about this movie that I think it's good to do these ones that are on Netflix because it means pretty much everybody has access to them. Whether it's on your own account or the password that you've stolen from your friend. But I'm doing pretty good. So I'm looking forward to getting to this week's episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We will, we'll get stuck into a review, which is Under Paris, a shark in Paris. That's the movie with lots of blood and guts. We might say we decided to do another horror movie because next week we're doing A Quiet Place. It's day one. So we decided, we might just tick off a few horror movies and do a little run of them.
Yeah, after doing Arcadian last week, I think it's cool to kind of have a little bit of a run of them, yeah.
Why not? And because I have a newfound confidence for horror movies. Once they're not supernatural, weird fucking kids, I think I'm pretty okay with them. Which is, it's great. But first and foremost, we will get into some news and then what we've been playing and watching this week. News-wise, anything tickle your fancy this week, Philly?
Well, actually, you mentioned Quiet Place at the top of the show there. The one thing that's kind of worrying is that the review embargo isn't getting lifted until the day the movie actually comes out, which is next Thursday, which is a little bit worrying. It happens in video games, and we know generally when it happens in video games, it's a bad thing. It doesn't always mean it's a bad thing when it comes to, movie. It's just they don't want spoilers to get out or whatever, and that's fine. But a lot of times it is a bad thing. So I was a tiny bit worried when I saw that. I mean, it's not going to stop me from going to see it, and it was just a little bit of a worry,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, as you said, with video games, it's almost a 99% guarantee it's going to be an absolute dumpster fire bag of shit.
Yeah.
But with movies, sometimes it's, sometimes with games you do get, uber confident people that send out review copies and they know that they've got a banger game or at least an 8 or 9 out of 10. And they'll send out, there might be reviews weeks in advance. And a lot of the time that's with bigger games, because they want people to try and complete the game and give an honest review based on if it's a long game. But with movies, it tends to be like sometimes it might be a few days before or something, but when it's on day release, it does kind of go, not quite sure about that one. Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully it's a good one. There's a couple other things. We've talked before about sequels coming out decades after they been released, such as Beetlejuice coming out later on this year. Is that a Spaceballs sequel is in development, and it's been done by Amazon MGM Studios. Yeah, it's Josh Gad is set to star with Mel Brooks producing, and then the director of Strays, Josh Greenbaum, is directing it with a screenplay by and it's been written by Benji Sammet and Dan Hernandez. That did Detective Pikachu, which I haven't seen, but apparently isn't bad.
I heard good things.
So like I'm like it's one of my favorites. I think even bringing something out now that even if it's not great, it's not going to take away from how much I adore that movie. It's been with me too long. It's been watching that movie since I'm a kid. So they're not going to be able to ruin it. So I'm happy to have it more. And
it might be a good Star Wars movie for once, actually. Which, might be good
because I mean I know Kathleen Kennedy's doing her absolute best to ruin Star Wars for us all. So maybe something a little bit different would be good. And apart from that, just a bit of good news from the kind of geeky industry, which is this time not a video game or a movie, but Games Workshop, who do all the Warhammer stuff, Space Marines. They make their not just the board games, it's video games, it's everything. It's such a huge business. Is that we talked about the greed of different companies, especially Xbox and studios like that. For a bit of good news, the Games Workshop are sharing 18 million profits with their staff because business is booming. I think and it's just a year. I think last year was 11 million. So the fact that it's still making a bomb is great. Like, it's such a cool hobby, man. I've painted some of these things myself, and I find it so relaxing. Just spend a couple of hours listening to some music and take your time with it. It can be really mindful. And it's cool. Just a little company. This was a little company that started in Nottingham, and now it's this big worldwide, phenomenon.
That's so fun.
One of our favorites.
Hope they're
hiring. One of our favorites, Henry Cavill. He's a massive fan.
Huge,
of it. Yeah. He's the best looking dork out there, really, isn't he? It's just not fucking fair. And the last thing is something I wanted to talk to you about, which was the Nintendo Direct came out, and we finally got our glimpse of Metroid Prime 4. What did you think of the footage that we saw?
Well, like when you texted me and you said, "Jesus Christ, Metroid Prime 4 gameplay," I completely forgot the Direct was on. Just jumped on straight away, skipped to the end, and I think it was more loving the announcement than the gameplay. The gameplay looks great, and it's it's going to be a good game, but it wasn't the leap that I was expecting kind of visually, because it was 7 years ago when they released, the fucking just the logo, and then after 3 years of development, they kind of 3 or 4 years, they, as Nintendo being very honest and open as they are, they said, it's the game wasn't going down the direction they wanted, so they just kind of scrapped everything and started anew. The gameplay was good, but it wasn't like, oh wow. It was more just I'm looking forward to playing that, but it didn't blow me away. How about yourself?
No, I'm obviously super excited. I'm straight away like, holy shit! Finally, I'm dying to play another Metroid game. But when I saw it first, I didn't realize it was Metroid 4. I thought it was DLC for the game that came out last year, the Metroid Prime remake, because
it's very last
the HUD, the thing, it just looks so similar. Now, obviously, the environment looks better and the enemies look better, but not that much of a gigantic jump. And it's not surprising. Like, we're still waiting on a fucking we're still waiting on a new Switch. You know what I mean? So we're talking about playing this game if it comes out next year, which it is 2025, on an 8-year-old console. So it's there's only so much you can squeeze out of this fucking console, Well, I like some of the other stuff that popped up, like the Zelda game that actually has Zelda as the protagonist.
Yeah, that looks great.
Looks kind of interesting. Yeah, and I suppose years of people getting it wrong, of thinking the Zelda is Link. You know what I mean? Link is the guy. Zelda's the princess. You actually get to play as her. And then there was a Mario Brothers game announced, a couple of other kind of remake kind of style things. But like, they announced like 30 games or something. It was cool.
Yeah, but it's still people are still itching just tell us what the next just show us the next console. It's
well, yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about time.
Any news on your end?
Actually, the first one that I read was this fucking Blade movie, Marvel Blade movie, that is driving everyone insane, including Mahershala Ali's lawyer,
agent,
agent or lawyer came out and just said, "Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous." So like when an actor's lawyer is coming out and fucking bad mouthing it, and it's just crazy because like Blade was announced at San Diego Comic-Con like back in 2019. Alongside loads of other movies, and like to put that into perspective, like the movies that were announced at that time were like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi, the Hawkeye, like Thor: Love and Thunder, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There was just like, this is the next slate, and they've all been made and have been out for quite some time, and Blade just still has like. It's just, like Blade's going to be fucking 70 years of age when they get this fucking thing made. Like, but the director he's exited again, and it's
he's literally had one line. He's had one line. Like, he had a line at the end of Eternals, and the little stinger at the end. You hear his voice, so he's just done a 2-second fucking thing in a voice fucking studio. It's shocking, Daz. Like, as you said, all these ones that have come out since, and we're still not getting Blade. Did you see that the people doing the analysis of the deep dives into the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, and you can see like different characters in it, and you can see that some of them are from the movies that we've seen. Like, one of them definitely looks like Bishop from Days of Future Past. You can see Toad. You can see Juggernaut, whether it's Vinnie Jones or not, he's wearing that out, wearing the gear.
Yeah.
And then, but in the background is one that people were wondering, was that Blade?
Looks
And
like
someone said it might be Blade from one of the TV shows, one of the fucking
Oh yeah,
whatever yokes. There might be some sort of Blade. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was saying because he's dressed it's a black dude in a long black trench coat wearing black leathers and he just looks like he's probably Blade. So I don't know if it is him or not, but yeah, man, I can't believe that we haven't fucking got that movie.
Yeah, and the fact that whether the script is finished or not, who knows? But the fact when the director exited, a few days ago, and he'd been working on it for 2 or 3 years, and just what kind of setback is that? Just what the fuck is going on? Even Wesley Snipes had a jab and just kind of said, "Oh, it's not fucking easy making Blade, is it?" Just shut up, Wesley. Fucking yeah, enough about Wesley.
Well, apparently there was no chance of him doing Blade in the Deadpool Wolverine because obviously Ryan Reynolds and him don't get along. You heard the stuff Ryan Reynolds was saying about him after Blade Trinity.
Jesus Christ! Some of the stuff behind the scenes and that is astonishing. Where he'd just be smoking weed in his trailer and just said if it's not a close up of my face, just get my body double to do it.
Body doubles to do
the whole fucking thing.
Body doubles are shooting from behind his head rather than Wesley Snipes actually doing the scene with Ryan Reynolds or Patton Oswalt. That's fucking hell.
Yeah, but some better news then is Inside Out 2's destroy the box office in the States and globally. Took 150 million over the 3-day weekend in the States. It was the third biggest animation opening ever. And almost about 300 million opening weekend globally. And all this talk about cinemas failing, it's the death of cinema, no one's going to the fucking movies. Everyone went to see this, which is fucking brilliant. Still haven't seen it myself, but I'm delighted that it's just made so much fucking money. It just looks like it's an absolute hoot. We must actually get out to see it.
I can't wait, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to see that one. The first one in the cinema was fantastic. I definitely want to see this one in the cinema. Probably just go on my own, just in case anybody sees me crying. It should be, it'll be good.
Straight out of the theater review, oh, it's fucking great. Yeah, but and then another directors leaving another project was Street Fighter, the new live action movie, which was just come on, just fucking get it going. And the directors left that after being on it for about a year or something. So that's another one of those movies where you're just going, it's just never going to get fucking made. We're just going to be stuck with Jean-Claude Van Damme's memory forever. Yeah, it's a shame. But
it's a pity.
But yeah, let's get on to what we've been playing and watching. What have you been up to?
So I haven't really played a whole lot to get anything new anyway, just kind of dipping out. I just fucking love Game Pass. I love being able to just pick up little games and mess around, was fucking burn an hour on Guacamelee or whatever the fuck, it's just I haven't really touched anything new. Besides the movie that we've watched, we're watching it, I haven't really watched a whole lot new this week. I've kind of just been dipping in and out of older stuff. The reason behind that is the Euros is on. So we're talking a good fucking 6 hours of my TV viewing, if I manage it a day, is watching football. So all my usual stuff has to kind of take a back seat while I do that. And so far, a few good games, a few bad games. England were fucking shite today. That was a hard watch, that game. But no, that's kind of that's really what I've been watching. So I don't really have anything new to report on that front. What about you?
Well, I took the plunge and had to see the Acolyte. I watched, I skimmed through episode 1 and then just did a recap of episode 1 and 2 because I just, even though they're short episodes, they feel really long, but I want to see episode 3 and it's wow. it's really something. It's really something. It's just you have to remind yourself you're watching Star Wars. It's just like what is this? And it's just it's a lot of the people online, as we were saying, it's vitriolic shit people are saying it is way too much for the show. It doesn't really deserve all that fucking 1-star backlashes. But from a fundamental filmmaking point of view, it's just not made well. It's just the story's just rubbish, and it's quite cringe. And
did you see what I meant about the fire?
Yeah, what the fuck is that all about?
Fire spreading across stone.
Just doesn't make any sense. They set up rules within their world, and then they just don't adhere to them, and that's just. It's not about like, oh, it's far fetched, or it's when you're talking about the fire or something, people say like, oh, well, it is a show about fucking people with laser swords. It's like, yeah, but there's rules within this world, and they just keep breaking them. And yeah, it's apparently episode 4. So online, someone said it's just wow. It's even worse. And episode 4 is only like about 26 minutes long. I'm just like, fucking hell, man, 26 minutes.
How did this get fucking put out? Like, surely someone in post must have gone, listen, we know you put a lot of work into this, but it's a fucking shit show. It's going to cost us more than it's worth. Let's just cut our losses. But the fact that they still put it out, like, it's such low quality in so many departments.
And how they gave
really bad.
How they gave one Leslie like was it 190 million? Like
nearly 190 million.
Why?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in her back catalog to suggest that she's going to be able to make a stellar fucking TV show. With Jon Favreau and The Mandalorian, at least he's got a track record of kind of going, like, this guy has shown that he can direct a pretty decent movie. But like people were saying that every episode of The Acolyte is the budget of every episode is twice the budget of the entire budget of Godzilla -1. Like,
holy shit!
There's a kind of comparison in terms of just like filmmaking prowess and just
won the Oscar like for best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. This won't be winning any awards, I'll tell you that. But that's I kind of that put my kind of watching on hold after that. I was just like, oh, I just put bad taste in terms of watching it. Yeah. I just under a duvet for a few hours, just like fucking hell. But gaming wise, same as yourself, just kind of dipping into Dave the Diver and a few bits and pieces. But I went back to Hellblade to try and finish it. After like it's just my second kind of run at playing it, but I got to about 2 or 3 hours, and it's good. It's just a lot of it is you're just marveling again at the graphics, and it's just you constantly just go, this is fucking gorgeous game. That's all you're really saying, because there's just not a lot of game in or gameplay in the game. It's such a tech demo. But there's came across one of the giants in it, which is pretty cool and creepy. It's kind of around the thing from that first trailer we saw.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff, which is the design and everything, and it just looks amazing, and it's very creepy. But again, you're not really. It's very basic. You're just kind of like, oh, run from behind this rock to behind another rock and don't get hit by flames. And it's just like, very basic. But I'm going to try and finish it over the weekend and get onto that. But not really playing or watching anything else other than the movie that we are going to review this week, which I watched, or I think we both finished it about 20 minutes ago. I watched it in about 12 little sittings throughout the last 2 days with my daughter wrecking my head. What are you watching? Just like, oh God, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But let's get into it. Philly, over to you.
Yeah, cheers, dude. Yeah, I think that, as you said, we were doing another horror, and this one had come recommended. I had seen it on Netflix, obviously pop up, but one of our previous guests, Dee, had said that she really, really enjoyed it. It was great fun, so we should check it out. And it was then that today I discovered that Dee is a liar. But it's good to do it today of all days, because exactly today as we're recording, is the 49th anniversary of the best shark movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time. Jaws. Yeah, today, 49th anniversary. That's my absolute favorite. As you well know. Absolute dork when it comes to that. Just to run through what the movie is, it's a 2024 release on Netflix called Under Paris, or Sous le Seine, if you're French. It's directed by Xavier Gans. I'm pretty sure it's Gans is the surname, but I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He actually directed a bunch of shit that I've seen, Daz, that you definitely haven't seen. He directed a couple of horror movies called there's one called Cold Skin, which was just fucking weird and it was pretty crap. Then there's one called A Divide, It was like a bunch of people in like a bunker after some sort of apocalypse kind of thing, and they're all trying to survive on what's left, and there's infighting and all the rest of it. And it's again not great. Michael Biehn's in it though, and then he did the Hitman movie with Timothy Olyphant, the first one that was done.
Oh no!
So he's directed. So he's directed a few things. There's the gas thing is on this one with regards to writers. There's 7 writers listed on IMDb. Okay, and usually if you look at a writer on IMDb, you'll see screenplay or original novel by that kind of thing will come up beside it.
Yeah.
But the credits for these 7 writers, right? 2 of them are credited with the original idea. That's their credit, right? As a writer, original idea. 2 of them are credited with just adaptation. Nothing else, just adaptation. And 3 of them are credited with scenario. That's it, just one word, scenario. It's like, what the fuck is that? What kind of ridiculous fucking credits
So they got paid for going, what's your input? Paris. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. What's your original idea about 2 guys go, one guy goes sharks, and they go, yeah, sharks. All right, you guys, original idea. It's like they paid a few quid to get themselves onto IMDb as a credit, like through the director, a couple of quid. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So it has 64% on score on Rotten Tomatoes. And before we get into the spoiler heavy stuff, we will give our brief synopsis now, and then our overall feelings before we get into the spoiler zone. So the synopsis basically is: to save Paris from a bloodbath, a grieving scientist named Sophia, played by Berenice Bejo, is forced to face her tragic past when a giant shark appears in the Seine. So yeah, what were your kind of overall initial feelings before we get into the spoiler stuff, Des?
This is up there with Jaws for me, man. No, this is fucking ridiculous. It's not absolutely fucking terrible like Madame Web or any of these things, but I think maybe it's like, it's probably a 2-star movie for me. It's first half's a bit of a slog, and second half or last 30 minutes is just fucking bananas and bonkers. It's always shot quite well, and I think that there's a thing with like European movies or Asian movies or anything that's subtitled. They get away with a lot from when I'm watching them, in terms of I can't tell if the acting is really bad or not in terms of the delivery.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you kind of go, you just take it very seriously, and this movie is played really fucking seriously. Like the first half an hour, it's like it doesn't know what movie it's going to be, or it doesn't know. It's like the first half of the movie doesn't know that the final 30 minutes are coming, because it just goes fucking off the wall, and it's just like script wise, there's so many kind of lazy tropes in this movie, which we'll get into. That's just
so many.
You scream at the screen, you're just going, oh, come on, dude. Like, and it's so many people just slip into water in this fucking movie. It's just like, when we get to get them in the water.
When we get to the catacomb scene, that's the fucking most ridiculous. But yeah, like I would agree with you, Daz. I think like it's because it's ridiculous, but it's either, I think you need, if you're gonna make it silly, make it sillier. You know what I mean? It's not quite silly enough. It's kind of going, but I think maybe it's because they play it so serious. I think everybody bar the mayor is playing it serious. She's obviously a nut job. Like she's an absolute caricature. She's ridiculous. Apart from her, everybody else is playing it super straight, which sometimes can be hilarious. If they're playing it super straight in a ridiculous premise, but it wasn't quite working for me. I'd say it's kind of probably 2-star for me. It's it's okay to watch because of all it's sharks killing people. I mean, like Deep Blue Sea is one of the dumbest movies ever, and I absolutely love it.
It's fucking brilliant.
But like you said, it's just derivative. It's stealing stuff from all these other dark things. Like, I mean, Deep Blue Sea included, the smarter sharks that are evolving. They mentioned at one stage a propeller accident must have killed this guy, a la Jaws. The mayor that wants to keep everything open. Jaws again. It's and from other creature features, as we'll get into as we go through it. But like it's on Netflix. I'm not going to say we recommend it, but there's worse things you could watch if you just want to watch a bunch of fucking sharks killing people. Throw it on. It won't cost you anything. It's on Netflix. So I suppose then with that spoiler free stuff, we can get into the spoiler heavy stuff. I found this, Daz, I don't know about you, I found this movie super preachy in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half. But the first half of this movie was super preachy. Like, I get it. We're destroying the environment. I get it. But like, they're so heavy handed on that in the first half of the movie.
It's laid on so thick. Like, it's this kind of, super preachy, but it's the eco satire. It's laid on just, super, super thick. And it's a bit kind of like, all right, yeah, we get it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, though, there's some shots that I thought were really, that I hadn't seen in another movie, which I actually kind of enjoyed. So it starts off, they're kind of, there's this, they're like making a documentary. Our main star, Sophia, they're making a documentary. She's with her husband and a bunch, and they're on this boat. And they're talking about this fucking floating garbage island that's in the middle of the ocean that everybody knows about. And they're just talking about the fucking state of the world and da-da-da-da-da. And while that's happening, they get a sonar beep and they go, it's here. And you're like, what's here? And you're like, okay, obviously it's the shark. So they go, right, we're going to fucking bail in and have a look. And so they get into their scuba gear and they're going along. And it's just the fact that the way they're underwater and there's this layer of garbage above them. And it looked really cool to me because it's just something I haven't seen in underwater movies before.
Like,
yeah, like
the underwater
a lot of the
shot really well.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the, because the way the light is coming through and all this different color plastic, you're getting a lot of different lights, warmths, and and stuff as well. Like, so it was really, I really thought the underwater stuff looked cool. But like as you said, it's the garbage is really put into display. Like they come across like a poor little baby whale stuck in the nets again. Oh God, look what mankind. Oh, its stomach is full of plastic. You're like, yeah, okay, we get it. Killing everybody. We're killing everyone. We're killing the earth. Let's just move on. Yeah. But they get closer.
That opening scene is 10 minutes. Like they do take their time delivering that message.
Yeah, and it's to set it up as we're destroying the world. We're the reason that these fucking sharks are about and all this shit. Because there's this one shark that they've tagged that they're after, who they've called Lilith, who I think is the name of the queen of the underworld, isn't it? So I think I'm not sure if that's why they called it that. Anyway, they're getting closer. They notice the big bite that's gone out of this fucking whale, and all these makos start showing up, and they mention that Lilith's the shark they're looking for. Eventually, she shows up, and she's massive, and they're all taken aback because this shark, last time they saw it, was much smaller. It shouldn't be this big in this short space of time. And I thought the sharks looked pretty cool. They didn't look super cheap or anything. I actually thought that, especially Lilith, when she's going by slowly, looked really cool.
I think they used the budget very well. I think, some of the first half of it, they use visual effects and all this kind of stuff sparingly, but it's done very well. It's never like nothing looks fake or nothing jumps out that it's dodgy VFX or anything like that. It's just, and that adds to the whole serious kind of tone that they're kind of going for, which it starts. And I hadn't even seen the trailer, or I hadn't seen the trailer or anything like that for this, but I had an idea that it's going to go the way it's going to go. But at the start, it was kind of taken aback, and again, it's because it's European movie and subtitles that it just played. It's like I enjoyed the opening 10 minutes, like, because it took its time and it was pretty suspenseful, and they weren't really going for too much madness or too much crazy fucking sharks or anything like that. It was quite nice.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think because as we get on later on in the movie, you see there's plenty of gore. But the first bit of gore the shark is shut up, and the reason the shark isn't attacking them straight away, they make a big deal about sharks don't attack for no reason, is that they want to get a sample. And he has like a fucking pole thing to get a sample. He just fucking stabs the shark with it. He's like, Gran, I got the sample. I was like, what do you think the shark is going to do? Of course he's going to come back and kill you all, you lunatic. So the shark comes back, and like you said,
shark works.
Yeah, isn't that surely they're going to fight back? This killing at the start is fairly PG. It's all just bubbles and screaming, and the only first bit of gore we see is that Sophia sees that on their fucking underwater cameras that they're all being killed. She bails into the water. Why? With no gear, no scuba gear, bails in after them, and she sees a floating arm with a wedding ring on, which obviously belonged to her husband. But like it's that, like you said, there's not too much gore. They didn't have to go mad with it. They didn't have a bunch of fucking sharks milling them all up and a scene, a load of gore and then cut to credits. It was like that. It was actually, and the next part, like she gets basically the shark fucking takes a shoot at it with a harpoon gun. It fucking takes a dive. It catches a net in its tail, and she's getting dragged underwater. And you see her eardrum shatter because she's going down too fast. And that made me kind of cringe because that was done really well. I don't know.
That was
how she held her breath that long was amazing.
Yeah, and the speed that the shark takes her down, just pretty sure like that's you're more than your eardrum's gonna fucking explode. The compression alone break her ribs. Like,
yeah, I think they say like sharks can swim like 50 feet per second or something mental like that. Like, I mean,
she's dragged down pretty fast. But
But anyway, she makes it up to the surface and all covered in fucking, and it's actually cool looking the way she wakes it up and she makes it out of the water and takes the breath,
super slow mo,
her mouth and everything. But yeah, it's really cool looking. And then that's the credits. We get our time jump then 3 years, and she's now working in a what's it called, an aquarium, doing a presentation. And like before we kind of get to that part, they layer on this part early on to really let us know that it's going to matter later on. So we get a thing by the Seine, and there's a bunch of lads doing one of those magnet things where they throw the magnet into the canal, they pull it out, and sometimes you pull out phones and bikes and all sorts of shit. It's people do whole YouTube videos on them. But they make this big thing that they've pulled out, and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" And it's like, "Oh, it's an unexploded World War II shell." I was like, all right, this is obviously going to be important because the guards show up. There's an article on it, tell you about it. They go in, when they get to the police station later on, they actually cut out newspaper article on the wall where they talk about all these things that they're finding. This is important. Right, okay. You're like, yeah, I assume that's going up later on. So, and then we basically meet these lads then who Adil is the head of I don't remember all their names, but Adil is the head of this kind of River Cop Squad, basically River Cops. I think they must have called it the River Cop Brigade or something like that. Yeah, and so they're out just stopping people from kayaking and stopping people from acting the maggot on the river. You know, it's like something you could make a sitcom out of, or not sitcom, a recurring weekly TV show, and like an episodic thing of just fucking River Cops, and they just have to solve a different weird crime on the Seine every week. Actually, you know what? They should give me a scenario credit in IMDb if they ever make that.
Yeah, you just made $100,000.
But yeah. So like the Sophia's doing it. She now works in an aquarium trying to get people, telling them about the oceans and stuff. And she ends up, some little kid brings up the fact that her whole crew died. Little asshole. I'm not sure why, but she goes storming out. I mean, it's weird. He's a little dickhead. But this woman named Mika was kind of watching, and she follows her out and goes, "Look, I work for this Save the Seas organization, and we found one of your beacons, and she wants you to come and check it out." And she's like, "No, I'm going." And she calls the name of the beacon, number 6 or 7 or whatever, and she realizes, "Oh my god, that's the one that was on Lilith. How could you possibly found it?" So she tells her she wants them to come and join their little clubhouse where they want to go and save the seas. They hack into different places to shut down, people who are trying to catch and kill sharks and all this shit. Like, they're just, activists and stuff, which is
eco warriors. Yeah.
So they say they tell her that they want to come and join the club. We reckon that your sharks are making it into the Seine, and there's like a very small explanation as to why it's now swimming. It's like, oh, the pollution has changed the shark, and now it can swim in fresh water.
I didn't understand that at all. It's kind of like, it's in Paris now, and it's just like, climate change and global warming has changed, just changed the sharks, fucking whatever. And now it's just, it's like a line or two, and I'm just like, is that it? Is that our fucking setup for this thing? And these, it's not like these guys, like, because your one's a fucking asshole. This Mika.
Oh, she's a dickhead. Yeah.
And she's as thick as. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get into that now. But she like, because at least in Godzilla, for example, in the 90s one, they make a thing of showing all these nuclear explosions and stuff going off at the start. And this thing was created by us destroying the world, radioactive lizard or whatever the fuck, and that's what happened. This is just regular old pollution that's to change this creature completely. They don't go into anything about it. They also don't say why it happens to show up in the city that she lives in, very near to the river which she happens to work by. It's just, did it follow her back?
I was thinking about that. I was just like, are they going to go down the fucking route now where this shark has inherited the fucking mind of her fucking dead husband or something? Just like, why is it following her around? Like, it's just like, I wish it went there, actually. Fucking brilliant.
She just wakes up outside her window at night and there's just this fucking shark picking his teeth with a bone. What's up? So yeah, like they want to join the club. They say, we have a plan. We want to communicate with the shark. And he's like, you can't communicate with it. It's a fucking shark. I'm like, no, it's great. We know he's in the Seine. So they decide at fucking nighttime, they're going to go out and go scuba diving. Because they reckon that the shark has already killed people. Apparently, this they found a car crashed right into the river, but they haven't found a body. So they just said it must have been there. What kind of fucking idiots? If they know there's a giant
why
shark,
are you not scared
in the Seine,
of the shark? Why is
no
one scared of the shark? Like, we think he's killed somebody, so we're going to go in at night and dive to do what? Like, what?
Like, so as far as they're concerned, it's just that line she says later on, like it won't attack unprovoked. It's a fucking shark. Like it's not just going to ignore you just because you don't feel like it's not going to. Like if it's right that it's the guy that went missing, whose car went in and a shark grabbed him and killed him, why do you think he's not going to fucking kill you, you lunatic? Anyway, she goes down looking, and while she's looking, the river cop turns up, and her girlfriend Ben, who is sitting, which is a cool name for a girl, I've never heard that name used before. I assume it's short for something. She's sitting in the boat, and she's waiting for her. She has to scarp her because the river cops come along, and she leaves Mika under the water with the shark milling around. But like, she sees the shadow of the shark. She manages to get out of the water unscathed, and that happens so often in this with people who are scuba diving with the shark. All seem to manage to get out of the water just fine. It happens a bunch of times.
Yeah, because the shark just kind of at numerous times you see the shark coming near somebody, then you see a shadow of it, and then sometimes you see it right beside people. And it's I thought about that. Are they playing up this thing where it is a thinking shark and it's not going to attack you because whatever, but then later on it just murders everyone. Just fuck it, like it's just so strange. Just like it's just a bizarre choice because it's I don't know if they're just trying to get some cheap tension out of it without having a budget to do any more death scenes. Just like but it didn't work. It's just like this shark is pretty sound. He's not doing anything.
He's just going for a swim in the river, like
man.
But so she comes to the surface, and the river cops show up, and they fucking arrest her. And again, we get some more kind of exposition, foreshadowing. They meet some of their other cop buddies who are by the river, and there's obviously a little kind of homeless camp or something there. And they're telling them, you're going to have to move on because we have the triathlon where all the people are going to be swimming in the Seine. Like, okay, just set that up as well. It's just they just do it multiple times. It was just they could have given it a throwaway line, but they literally bring Mika with them as they go past and kind of so back at the station, Mika's telling them, actually, listen, lads, the reason I was in there is there's a fucking shark in the Seine. They think she's doing a job and say no, not happening. But it turns out Sophia at the same time happens to be patrolling the river with a beacon looking for the shark. And the cops show up and say, listen, Mika told us that you're a fucking shark expert, so we need you to come along. And again, this is where they did the propeller thing. They show up and they've got a body of a dude and it's got shark bites. We don't really see a massive amount about it. But they do that propeller thing. This is, be sure this wasn't done by like a boating accident kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very obviously a shark bite. Like, come on. Jaws works because it was the fucking 80s or whatever, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, and your man was just saying, like, boating accident because they wanted to cover it up as well because they didn't have to close the beaches or whatever. These are fucking cops. They should be able to tell. They should be looking for the truth. Anyway, they go looking she goes with them to go looking in the river to find the shark because she has this thing that she's able to track him on with the beacon. And they're in a speedboat tearing along, right? Fucking kilometers and kilometers away. Your one Mika manages to catch up with them on a fucking bicycle. She shows up like 2 minutes after they get to where they're going. She just rocks up after cycling after them. It's like, how the fuck did you keep up with a speedboat on a fucking bicycle?
Because the plot needs to happen.
I think it's like something you've talked about a good bit before in this is regards to geography. It's all over the fucking shop in this movie. Like, I don't know.
I imagine if you live in Paris, this would be even more hilarious. Kind of going, that's fucking 10 miles away. But like talking about the beacon thing, I didn't really understand why sometimes, they, Mika and all the fucking eco guys were able to track the shark. And she's like, but mine's not working or whatever, and opens her thing. And then someone just goes on her computer, early on, and then they're able to show her how to do it. And just, okay. And it just, there's nothing said about that. The beacon just kind of comes on and off for different people when the plot needs to happen. And it's just...
she says that at the start. She says at the start, Yeah, she says at the start, she says like, how could you possibly buy where ours was all
Yeah.
encoded? And she's like, yeah, well, we're like super hacker dudes, so that's how we get into it. That's what we do.
Fuck off.
But like that, but like you said about switching it off, like they're out looking for the three scuba divers are under the water, looking for the shark, which is under there. And Mika calls her mate, fucking her Mrs. Ben, back in the place and goes, here, shut the beacon off because the cops are going to kill the shark. So just shut it off. It's like, looking for the shark. You don't know if they're definitely going to kill it, but like the shark could kill them. You could be taking. She doesn't care about human life at all. Multiple times throughout the movie, and like you wouldn't even say
to save the shark. To save the shark to turn off the beacon. But that's a beacon that you're tracking. This is really important, right? You're just like, don't turn it off so they don't kill it. It's like, what the fuck? Her motives and her decision making are appalling.
Yeah, and even when Ben says, the one who's the hacker, she says to her, listen, I might not be able to turn this back on again to track it. She goes, just fucking do it, turn it off.
It's just a magic beacon, just like, boop.
Yeah, so she fucking turns off the beacon disappears, now they can't track the shark anymore. But at this point, like, the three cops that are under the water, they managed to get out again. They'd just been under there with this fucking giant shark.
No problem.
They managed to get out of the water. And at this point, I was thinking, when the fuck is somebody going to get killed? Because we haven't seen anything happen since the fucking start before the credits rolled up.
40 minutes into this.
Like it does ramp up, but like at this point, it's like, oh, fuck, get a fucking move on. But anyway, cops, Sophia fucking sees.
When they get the divers out and like, what's the main guy's name? Main river police guy?
Adil.
Adil and Sophie have this like, this dramatic kind of standoff, and he's like, you're responsible for, you put my team in danger, when she was the one person saying don't go in there, it's a fucking killer shark. And then they do this thing where he's just, for a completely nonsensical reason, you put my team in danger. Just like, what are you talking about? Like, you're their fucking chief, you put them in the fucking water, I told them not to. That's very evident and very obvious. We've just watched that. So it's like this kind of like fake tension. They're just, these characters are just, they're not speaking like real people. It's not real conversation because that didn't happen. And it's just like, but we need them to just shout at each other just to drum up some tension so they can bond later on. Yeah, it's just fucking bullshit. Like, it's so bad.
He literally blames her for turning the beacon off. She's like, why would I? Why would I go on the boat? The whole thing, turn the fucking beacon off, you lunatic. And that's when they get back and she looks up and she sees fucking Mika is doing a legger. And goes, it was obviously her fucking turned it off. So she catches up with her in the little club, activist club, and says, what the fuck are you after doing? And Mika then says, you shouldn't have been there when you found that shark in the first place. It's your fault, your whole team got killed. Which is, Jesus, what a fucking dick move. Like, blaming her and telling her she was responsible for her husband's death.
Now, like.
Husband still be alive if he didn't stab the shark with a big fucking stick. It's his fault. But yeah, like that we have the exact same thing as fucking Jaws. Like we say, he's the captain, much like Brody is, and says we need to shut down the river. And she says, no, what we'll do is we'll double the amount of staff that we have on instead. And it's just it's directly robbed from that. Like, you put as many people on the beach as you want, but these beaches will be open for the summer. And it's just. Yeah. It's the same fucking thing. Anyway, this next part, right, she puts out this broadcast, right? Mika puts out a broadcast on social media, and it feels like every single person in the city is looking at it. She's making this thing. She's the one telling people about it, the shark, and she's like, we need to get together and be together for this shark. We need to save it. And da, 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 da. There's like, everybody seems so invested. It cuts to people in the park, and they're all gathered around one phone, like 6 or 7, it's like all watching it. There's old people watching the thing. It's like, but no, because it just shows up on one thing zooms out and you can see it's an Instagram page. She's like, she's just posting on social media, but everybody in Paris seems to be totally locked in on this stuff. Like, why would fucking a bunch of people gather around the phone to watch this dumbass? It's like a just fucking stop oil person put out a video. No one's watching that. No one's watching that shit. Fucking ruining Stonehenge.
That's mad. Yeah, I thought it was something hacked or something. It was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Is this like some kind of nonsense Independence Day kind of thing? Oh, someone's hacked into every fucking phone so you can see.
Well, if it is, they didn't mention it. Like,
no, yeah, it's fucking bizarre though.
So anyway, fucking Adil shows up and he realizes after reading through your one's background, Sophia's background, she wasn't the bad guy, and he says, "Look, come on, speak to the mayor with me. I'm gonna fucking talk to her. We'll try and get this." Try and get that shit down. They want to listen to you. You're a shark expert. And then they meet the mayor, who's a nut job. She's like, no, we spent 1.7 billion getting this place ready for the triathlon. And we're doing all these fucking different things. We're gonna fucking put in nets and fucking people all over the gaff. It's gonna be great. Like, and there's no way we're shutting it down. She's just like this larger than life nutjob character who's so different to every other character in it, which makes her stand out even more. Like,
yeah, she steals the scene by being a complete, like, she's just taking a shitty, shoddy script and just going, fuck it, I'm just going to just chew the scenery a bit. But it's one of those things where you're just like, oh no, we're not shutting it down and we've spent all this money and blah, blah, what'll they think? I have to do this. And just like, well, just tell people there's killer sharks in the fucking water and everyone go, yeah, oh no, okay, we'll do it next month. Whatever. No, it's like, oh God, it's just so lazy. You see it all the time. Someone, no, there's a meteor going to hit Earth. Oh, fucking liar. Here's a picture of it. Oh, I don't believe you. You know, here's a killer shark. You know, here's obvious bite marks on people that we've seen the shark. It's around the place. Like, it's fucking 7 meters long. It's really, really, really dangerous. And you're going to put fucking 300 people in the fucking river to swim a race that costs 1.7 billion quid or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, what kind of triathlon? A few triathlons, and it's like it didn't seem like that big of an event actually when you see it. It's just a load of people.
No, there's countries that don't fuck. There's countries whose entire fucking spend for the year isn't 1.7 billion. It's mental.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
But they decide, the cops said, we'll bait the shark, we'll sedate it, we'll get it fucking back out in the sea, get rid of it. But then Ben, the mate, she does a bit of a double cross. She comes in and says, as you said, Daz, she comes in and says, listen, Mika's gone too far. They're gone looking for the shark and they're going to get themselves killed. And she goes, but I'm able to track it by the beacon. She's like, how? She goes, oh, I found a way to track it. She's like, what do you mean you found a way to get a beacon running again? She goes, oh, I'll show you. 3 seconds. I say 3 seconds it took her to go. A bunch of code comes up on the screen. And she goes, right, bang, there we are, back in again. It's like, hang on a second. You say you didn't know if you could turn it back on. You had to turn it back on in 3 seconds. You're one who put the fucking thing on in the first place, has no idea how you've done any of this. It's anyway, she's hacked it in. They're all sitting around the computer and they realize the shark is now in the catacombs under the city, this kind of reservoir and stuff, which is actually really cool looking.
It looks fucking badass. And
it's all fucking skulls lining the walls and everything under the water. It's fucking savage looking. But again,
lunatics.
Actually, there's a horror movie called As Above, So Below. Not a great horror movie, but there's a lot of cool stuff in the catacombs. It's worth throwing on for that. So Mika and her fucking all these activist mates, she's managed to convince a bunch of people to come down. Like, even if you're not afraid of this shark and you're going to get in the water with it, with your fucking sonar thing to lead it back out to sea or whatever, don't invite a load of people down as well. Like, if you're going to put yourself in danger, that's one thing. But there is 50 people down in this catacomb that are in this circular room, which she's got her fucking sonar device in the water she gets in with. And they're all sitting around watching with their lights and their camera phones and stuff to film what's happening. It's like, why are all these people down there? Like, you've got this much of a ledge to fucking stand on. If you know there's a shark in the water, what the fuck are you doing in there? Under the city in the sewers? Mentalers. Absolutely.
Still doesn't know how a shark works. How a shark work.
For someone who works for Save the Seas, she has fucking no idea what she's doing. It's a dumbass plan. And anyway, the cops turn up and they find all Mika's mates and say, right, let's get the fuck out. All of you back out this way. While this is happening, because Mika has her dumbass fucking sonar device on, the shark shows up. And it's not the only one. Lilith has had a baby. So the baby's there as well. And, unsurprisingly, Mika won't get out of the water. And so she gets killed by a shark. And I cheered. This is one part where I actually made an audible noise while watching it. I was delighted. One that was just an over-the-head shot. Shark comes up, fucking chomps.
Cool shot.
Yes! Good enough for you. Yeah, because we hadn't really seen gore up until now that much, and this is where we get a big fest of it, like, because as you said, that people just start falling into the water. Like, that shark jumps up and gets her, right? So nothing's happened yet. It hasn't banged the sides of the fucking walls, and all of a sudden they all just start falling into the fucking water for no reason. It's like they've just knocked into a wooden pier and it's falling apart. They just fall in.
And the main thing you're just looking at and just like, the shark has killed her. Yeah, it's terrifying or whatever, but you're not in the water. Like, the shark's in the water, right? Like, if you're not in the water, you're pretty okay from a shark, pretty much, right? But they all just start going, but they just keep slipping. Everyone just slips over fucking everyone. It just turns into carnage. You just go, take it. The utter stupidity on show is mind blowing.
And I get it, Des. Like I get like the path they're on is probably only maybe a couple of feet wide or a foot and a half wide. It might be covered in like lichen or moss, which makes it slippy. But just stand there. You've been able to stand around the water now. You've walked in and made it this far without falling into the water. Why now suddenly when someone in the water goes down, are you all? I go fuck out. I've lost my fucking equilibrium and balance. Anyway, they're all scrambled. They all fall in and they're scrambling to get out. Shark's having a meal. Fucking chomps down on a bunch of them. Ben gets fucking pulled under the water and she drowns in maybe 5 seconds. I think it all takes her to get
I thought somebody stood in there and broke her neck or something. It was fucking
I think she
weird.
just got pushed down. She was trying to get out, but everybody was scrambling. Yeah, everybody was scrambling and she just got pushed under. Do you see her grasp? Yeah, she just died. Yeah.
But there's a lot of but there's a lot of like the depth of that water is questionable. It's like at some points it's obviously really deep, but at one point is when the black police guys, you can see him and he's standing in the water, like he's just moving around and
in that big
very
pool.
obviously
yeah,
he's very obviously standing in the water, and also the water is up to the edge where they're standing. It's about a foot, so like people who are in the water, no one just got up on the ledges. After a while, they go, "Oh no, we'll swim down this little tunnel." Just get up on the fucking ledge. It's just right there. There's loads of room, but the plot needs to happen.
Yeah, like I think, the part where they all walk in and the cops walk in, it's kind of waist level water, and the idea I think is supposed to be that circular pool in the middle is the big huge drop, and that's how the fucking sharks and all can get in. But like as you said, the dude is just standing up in it. It's like, how is he standing in it yet? It's fucking pitch black when we look down and we see the sharks coming up. Like
and people are drowning in
very,
that.
very deep.
What?
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Like, but like, they're all fucking plowing to try and fucking escape out of the place. And like every death here is on Mika. She lured the fucking shark there. She brought 100%. All those people down to fucking watch. All these deaths are on Mika. They could have fucking caught the shark ages ago and killed it. Absolute villain of the movie, not the shark. It's definitely Mika. But yeah, they end up going back down to the catacombs afterwards because they find a dead baby shark. I think because you can see the lads have been firing their guns into the water and you can kind of see a bullet hole. So I assume one of them must have taken out this baby shark. And she's like, "Oh, hang on a second. This thing is only 2 months old. How is it so big? And not only that, when I cut it open, there's a bunch of shark babies inside. How is it pregnant? This means it's a brand new species and it can reproduce on its own without a male. And now, because it can do that, it's going to multiply if it hasn't already." And like, holy shit, we really fucking jumped up a notch there. She's been looking at that shark for maybe 30 seconds and she knows all of this shit straight away.
Yeah. Pretty.
And yeah, so we're like, but again, they go to the mayor and Mayor's still like, I don't care. Still not cancelling. She's like, this is just, she's like,
this triathlon
people are dead.
Is really important. It's really important. Like, everyone's dead, Mayor. Like, there's about fucking 40 people who've just been murdered. It's like,
mostly children. There's one cop and mostly children. Yeah. And she's like, no. And all the people who were maimed as well, who had legs and everything ripped off. She's like, no. She tells the guy, she goes, look, hush the whole thing down about the 12 people getting killed. River cops are off the case. I'm bringing the army in. And you're just off the case, and we're just going to go ahead as normal. Like, are you fucking
she's
mental?
Like, what am I going to say? She says, what am I going to say on TV later? Do you realize the shit I'm in? Just what shit?
Realize how stupid I look.
Sharks. Like, no one's going to, like, we're not going to blame you for these killer sharks. Like, you're just responsible for the people of the city, And
each time it's brought up, like, they come up their man's on the news and talking about, like, what about the rumors that there's sharks in the Seine? And he's like, oh, no, don't mind that. That's a load of bollocks. Like, don't worry about that. That's fuck. Just changing the subject. It's like, hang on, people know about this. Surely somebody's triathlon people should not be getting
the water. Is this your
shark? It's fucking nuts. But anyway, even though the river cops are taking off the case, they still kind of have a plan to kill the shark. Like, who's still in? Let's do it for the our mates who have been our fucking river cop buddies who've been eaten by this shark. And so they plan. The idea is that they bring in these other two dudes who we haven't seen from the whole movie. Don't know why they're invested, but they say these guys are bomb experts and they're going to help us set up a bomb under so we can bury the shark nest. I didn't even know sharks had nests, but apparently all these sharks have been down in this nest reproducing and getting bigger. And so they get these dudes, these explosive experts who go under the water and they all dive under to blow the nest up. At this stage, the triathlon's kicked off. A bunch of people are in the water swimming. Yeah. And when the cops get down under the water, they realize that there's actually hundreds, maybe even thousands of these sharks. And I actually thought this looked
cool
cool.
reveal that shot. Yeah, that reveal was brilliant.
Because they all have they're using red lights under the water for whatever reason. And when they shine up the red light, you just see all the fucking sharks swimming above them, and it's just the red light bouncing off. It actually looks really, really cool. Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the lighting when that terrible movie, Aquaman, the first Aquaman movie, you know, when there's a slow-mo of them going into the water, and like a side-on view, and there's all these creatures are coming at them, and it's just lit really well. The water is lit well with this red light. It looks fucking cool. It looks awesome. It reminded me of that a little bit. But yeah, they decide we're gonna have to blow up and catch or kill all these fucking, trap them all and kill them all in this fucking nest of sharks. But still, there's no sign of the big shark, and they keep asking, where is she? We can't blow it up without her down here. And they've got everything ready to go, and then the bomb guy all he has to do is hit a button, and next thing he gets fucking torn apart by sharks. By the black guy Adama, he goes over, picks up to get the detonator. He gets torn apart by sharks.
Yeah, they get properly ripped apart as well. It's just like
properly,
meaty.
There's like a bunch of them. Yeah, it's like they're like fucking piranhas going out. They're getting fucking torn apart. But Adil and Sophia managed to get out. Just the bomb goes off. Everybody else is getting killed. And they make it down. They come out of the water, and again, they just get out of the water, and then Sophia goes, I'm just going to go back down and make sure that this whole thing is caved in. So she gets back into the fucking water, swims down and looks at this big pile of rocks under the water, which starts fucking rumbling. And next thing, bam, the big huge fucking shark comes out of the hole. It's like, what the fuck are you doing going back into the water? Like, you just escaped. It's ridiculous.
Luckily she wasn't on the boat, though.
No, because she's on the boat, and the shark swims past her, looks to kind of eyeball her, swims past her, and then goes to the boat where the rest of the remaining cops are in it, and instead flips them cops up into the fucking air. They go flying in the air. The boat goes in the air from yet another overhead shot, which they kind of started to overuse a bit. And someone had obviously bought a drone, and wanted to use it. Yeah. But the cops go up in the air, and they fucking fall back down to the water, and they end up getting killed too. So we're left with the two main characters, because these remaining cops have been killed. So we're left with Adil and Sophia. What are they going to do to, save the day? And we have I'm sure they'll call an homage. It is an homage really to Jaws, is that there's a net under the water, which is to keep out sharks or what, I don't fucking know. But shark swims into the net, and the net breaks off. And we get it's a shit net. The shark's swimming along, and because it's dragging the net, there's these yellow buoys that are tied to it. And so it's supposed to look like the barrels from Jaws, obviously.
Yeah.
But Shark goes berserker. Shark is just taking people out left, right, and center. Very silently at first, because there's a load of them swimming, and they're just getting picked off from behind. So the guys leading the race don't even see that this guy's disappearing behind them, getting pulled under by sharks. Almost bloodless killings, like he's just pulling them under and suffocating them or something. But we start to get the kind of carnage. This is, as you were saying, Daz, at the start. It's ramped up now. Now we're getting a bunch of people in the water. It's full throttle, and now we get this. The army boats have turned up, and they're shooting into the water with their guns, and we get the screaming, "Cease fire! Cease fire!" The shells that are under the water.
Oh yeah, the shells. The shells. We almost forgot about
the
them.
Shells, like, oh yeah.
And the shell that it shows underwater, like when the shark goes by, and we see the shells getting raised up from the river floor, and one of them just falls down and like just gently taps the ground, and that's like explosion. But earlier on, when when those kids were pulling one out with their fucking magnet, the thing is bouncing all over.
I think they say that's inert. I think they say that one's inert when they took it out. They say a bomb disposal. Yeah, the bomb disposal guy. It's just a throwaway thing. You know that's inert. Yeah. But yeah, I actually thought because it's not a bullet that hits the fucking shell and explodes. It's actually a shark milling past and stirs up a bunch of them. Anyway. But it was actually a cool underwater shot of that bomb, like the way it hits and slows down. Yeah, it was actually pretty cool looking. Anyway, that
explosions
blows
are
up.
really well done, actually.
Yeah, because that goes up, and what it does is it makes all the other bombs that are on the fucking floor of the river, which apparently is fucking hundreds of thousands of these fucking bombs, man. Seriously,
clean that shit up, like, it's like,
how many bombs have the Nazis dropping that and people standing in the sand and miss the city? Yeah. Anyway, you got stirred up. The next thing is this cascade of explosions. So not only is like not only is the fucking the boats and people getting blown up, the fucking bridges are getting blown up. Like every bridge along the Seine is fucking getting obliterated. There are so many bombs in the Seine that the whole city is getting fucking destroyed. Like there's bam, bam, blown. It's blown like dams, locks, the whole lot, which of course breaks the water. And the whole city fucking starts getting washed away. You see the mayor is standing on her podium. She gets washed away. People are getting blasted and killed by water fucking left, right, and center. And we then get this kind of cut of, where they're swimming. And you can see, I'm like, in a second, is that street level that they're at? And when they zoom out, you can see the street is actually under 8 feet of water. We get shots from under the subway, and it's actually pretty cool. The subway's underwater, and you can see sharks are swimming through the subway. It looks deadly. But it looks like these two, our heroes, are the last two people alive because they zoom out and we can see that all the city is covered in water. Subways are flooded. And we start seeing fins, obviously because the fucking sharks are everywhere. But there's no other people around anywhere. Like, were they the only two people to survive?
It was just mad fucking everybody tsunami. Just disappeared.
And we get this zoom out then, and it's the whole, basically, Paris is all underwater almost. It's halfway up all the buildings. And there's just shark fins everywhere, and it's just fucking Shark City. It's setting up a sequel, and then that's where we end the movie.
I was surprised at that. I thought they were really going to do the like when she pulls him out of the water and kind of saves him and stuff. And I really thought, right, we're going into she's going to face off against the main shark or whatever. But then you're going, but there's fucking hundreds of these sharks now. What's going to happen? But that when she actually just looks up and sees all the sharks and they pull out, that's the moment you're going, no way, they're actually leaving us on a fucking cliffhanger. Like,
they're leaving it for Under Paris Part 2.
Where the fuck do you go from here? You don't have the budget to do all that for an entire movie. Like,
no, they'll be whatever the second one is. It's about them. I don't know, draining the water again or some shit. Or I don't know. The sharks have got even smarter. The sharks have got even smarter. And now it's the humans that are living as they, and they just go a Planet of the Apes route with it,
Yeah.
It's not a great movie, and like I like if we're gonna watch a horror movie like this, I wanted like a laugh out loud moment or two where I kind of
bit more
there wasn't really anything apart from Mika getting killed. There was nothing shocking. Like myself and Dee actually watched a horror movie the other night, the First Omen, which by the way, Daz, beautifully shot, absolutely really, gorgeous. It really is. Like as horror movies go, it's really well shot. The sound design is fantastic. It's well acted. Like it's a decent movie. But like there's a couple of times now when both me and Dee were like, holy shit, did that just happen? Like it's really like that. Like at one point even Dee was shocked into silence. Like it was like, holy fuck, that was insane.
Jesus.
And because it's just so over the top and unexpected and funny. Even though it's not supposed to be funny, when you like those kind of movies, it's funny, it's shocking. And I would like to see a few more of those scenes in this movie to make it that much more fun, especially in the first half of the movie where it's a bit of a slog. Some more, deaths that you're not expecting, like a Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea, you know, like someone having a speech and the fucking shark coming out of the water and just taking their head off, and it's just left with just a body that flops over or something.
Yeah, just show how deadly like that, the shark actually can be.
Yeah,
the shark
just
turns up,
Yeah, and because this should be a fun movie. I mean, it's not gory enough. It's not scary enough to be an actual horror scary movie. So you need to put a little bit of fun into it. Like I'm gonna hop back to my favorite movie again, Jaws. Like we get a lot of the back and forth is between the characters, between Quint and between Hooper and between Brody, and that's a lot of where we get our humor is injected into it there as well. And if you're gonna have the horror part of it, have that side of it as well. But they don't do that with the characters. I mean, you made the good point, Daz, about they're just trying to force a relationship between these two people, rather than actually build it.
And just doesn't really work. But a lot of the time, like in this, it just where like it's not nice to try and to compare it to Jaws in any movie. But
no, it's not. I just want to pick a Scott. Yeah, I'm just trying to pick a horror movie.
But again, with Jaws, like you have to kind of it's a natural comparison. But like where Jaws works because. The whole thing with these movies and where Sharknado and stuff like that said, fuck it, we need to get people in the water, said, no, fuck it, we'll bring the sharks to the people. And you go, fuck it, yeah, that's madness or whatever. But at for a shark movie, you need to get people in the water, and there are reasons for getting people in the water. are orchestrated. It's just nonsense and it's silly and doesn't really work. But Jaws works because the cast and they're going into the water because they have a reason. They want to kill the shark. There's a reason for them to be in the water. Where this is just people stay in the water, they jump in the water, they slip in the water. There's no proper reasons for them to actually get into the water with this fucking shark, which is just now, this makes just the plot silly,
Yeah, and it makes the plot of, like, as I mentioned, Deep Blue Sea, it makes that seem just totally reasonable. Like they are breeding a bunch of sharks. That's why they're there. They don't they're trying to actually avoid the water and the sharks, but they fucking, these are smart sharks and they're flooding the place. And there's a reason that this is happening. There's a reason they're all there around these sharks. Whereas this is just these bunch of people, these dozen kids who got fucking killed are only killed because they watched Mika's Instagram video and just fucking showed up down to the catacombs. What the fuck are you doing under the city in the sewer just looking for a shark? You lunatics. But like, there's not enough in it like that to kind of, especially in the first half, to kind of grab you to make it an enjoyable creature feature kind of thing. I thought your one was fine. The main actress, Bernice Bejo, I think she was grand. Hate your one, Mika is a dickhead.
Everyone else is serviceable, but she's a very noticeable asshole.
Yeah, there's only two unlikable people really in it, and it's her and the mayor. But the mayor is unlikable because it's not that she's not unlikable. She's actually probably my favorite character in it. It's that she's a bad guy, if you want. She's the only other bad guy in the movie because she wants to keep the fucking river open for the triathlon. But like, apart from that, there's no one really to be angry at, and the shark is just doing what sharks do. You know what I mean? So shark isn't really the bad guy. So you're really left with one or two bad guys, and it's Mika and it's the mayor. They're the bad guys, not the shark. Shark's just doing shark things. It just wants to reproduce and stuff, and it's it doesn't work for me. It wasn't enough. It wasn't really fun enough. I thought it was going to be a lot more fun because the premise is cool.
Didn't really know what it wanted to be. Is it like Jaws or is it the Meg? It's like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
tonally it's a bit off. It doesn't really work.
Yeah. And I like the idea, the guys who got their IMDb credits for idea and adaptation, they really earn their money. Like, I like the idea of, a bunch of sharks swimming in the sand in the catacombs. That is just a cool idea. Give me a better reason why they got there. Not that it came swimming from the ocean and showed up in the same city that she happens to live in. Give me some other way that this has happened. Someone's got to do an experiment and accidentally
it's her dead husband.
Mutated sharks
it's her dead husband.
There you go. Okay, dead husband has been fucking mind melded with this fucking shark and taken over. I don't give me something different and make it a more fun, ridiculous thing. But this was more heavy handed. Stop destroying the oceans. It's not the fucking people that are sharks that are the problem. It's the people that are the problem. And it's and they kind of do that for the first half of the movie, and then they kind of stop being heavy handed with it afterwards, which is weird. But it's an uneven movie. I think it's shot quite well. I think the effects for what the budget is, was low enough. I don't know the budget. I'm pretty sure it's low. Was done quite well. The sharks look cool. There's some great lighting, especially the underwater stuff. They don't go for like just super crystal clear water. It's murky a lot of the time, the way it should be. And so it's fine. It's a fine serviceable horror movie to throw on in the background. I just wish it was more fun. I would go with your star rating, Daz, at the start of 2 stars. I think that was fair. That's what I would go with.
Happy days. Yeah, 2 stars from me. Nicely shot. Bit of a mess tonally, but sharks. And Mika getting killed is a highlight. Yeah. I rewound that about 5 times.
Yeah, so that's it then for that's it for the movie review anyway, for sure.
All right, thanks, Phil. That was great to go through that movie. And that is a wrap for this episode of Middle Aged Geeks. Keep the feedback coming and keep liking, subscribing and playing and everything in between. Thanks, Phil. I'll see you all next week.